Hey guys, it's Pokey Dude here with Misaki, and welcome to the actual final stream of Tsukihime. We just gotta quickly finish up the epilogue today. We ran out of time yesterday. Okay, Eclipse. Suddenly, I wake up. A vast night. In the midst of a grassy field that extends as far as the eye can see, I stare blankly at the moon. There's no one else here. No signs of human presence, no sounds from any animals. Maybe it's because I've pushed myself too hard these past couple of days. I just wanted to lie down quietly and be alone, but it seems I fell asleep. It was a bright darkness. Probably because the moon is hanging so low. The grassy field that looked like a black sea last night is bright, like some sort of stage. They're clearly a clearing illuminated by sharp moonlight. I thought it was like a theater somewhere. Only there are no curtains around. This field that sweeps far and wide is devoid of any curtains of trees, nor is there an audience or stage crew. There's nothing here. The only things here are the moonlight and the white darkness. The wind does not blow and the grass does not even sway. How quiet. I laugh quietly as it feels like all the commotion until yesterday was just a joke. Now, if you talk about jokes, then my life until now was not so happy that, looking back at it, it seems like it was just an illusion. A lot of things have happened. There were a lot of amazing things that occurred, and my life changed pace quite often. The expected and the unexpected. Everything was illusory. Looking back, it seems that no matter how trivial things seemed, all the coincidences built on each other. The days were only a repetition of each other, but no 2 days were quite the same. Then that means perhaps each and every one of them was an irreplaceable moment I can never return to. I recall many things that happened. The memories are so nostalgic, it makes me smile. Just the thought of the new experiences awaiting me in the future, different from those of my past, makes me dizzy. Truly a mix of emotions. Happiness, excitement, and enough worries to give me a headache. Thump. My heart beats loudly once. What comes after is my usual anemia. The dizziness continues for a while, but eventually disappears. Even though the wound on my chest healed, my anemia didn't go away. It seems my fragile health wasn't caused by the wound on my chest alone. Well, of course. Being able to perceive the shape of death means I stand much closer to death than others. To be honest, I never thought about living a long life like ordinary people. Thump. The sound of my heart beating. It's not like me to think of this, but I wonder just how long I can keep running through time. The conclusion is rather uninteresting, because even if it stops tomorrow or in a few decades, still. I'm going to assume that's Arcoade.
It's dangerous just lying around like that.
And I hear a familiar voice. Oh, okay, close. Eh?
What do you mean, eh? You have an awful lot of free time on your hands if you can just sleep around here in the middle of the night. I was this close to kicking you, so you better watch out.
She says this grumpily while carrying a trunk in one hand. Oh, kicked? And by who? I lift myself up.
Obvious stupid. You and I are the only ones here. So who else could it be but me?
She declares this confidently as she folds her arms. Ha. Stifling the laughter spilling out of me, I gaze up at her and the moon. Okay, I can't believe it. I somehow felt that I'd meet you, but I didn't think that day would be today.
What a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you here either. I heard you were here, but we never did meet up, did we? So I was thinking that it was our fate this time not to meet. Although...
If we did see each other, it would have caused trouble, right?
Right. I am a member of the association after all. We're not quite on good terms with the church.
She laughs without a hint of guilt. It really is hard holding back my laughter. It makes me happy to see this person hasn't changed one bit since that day we met.
And since I ran out of things to do, I was going to leave here tomorrow. See, this incident was partially my fault, you know? So I stopped by here for a final check, and I almost ended up kicking some ordinary person.
Then we were fated to meet. To be honest, I felt we would meet up again. I smile.
I welcome this sort of fate.
She flashes me an identical smile in return.
Long time no see. You've grown up, Shiki.
Yes, you seem to be doing well too, Sensei. Returning her plain greeting, I look back at Sensei with serious eyes. We sit on the field of grass and talk. We talk about senseless things, just like the old days. It was only briefly that we talked about what had happened and what we were going to do in the future.
It's about time. I don't plan on staying here long. I'm leaving before dawn, so we'll have to part here.
Saying that, Sensei stands up. I try to stand up with her, but I collapse.
Shiki?
I can hear her voice. I take a few deep breaths and stand back up. Dang, it seems like no sleep or rest until last night just hit me.
It. That dizziness is your biggest weakness. You don't look like you have any injuries. Is your body alright?
Yeah, thanks. Unlike you, I have a normal body.
If you say so.
She glances at me meaningfully, then looks directly into my eyes.
Shiki. You know you're not going to last much longer?
Her clear words. I'm surprised. It's not that I'm surprised by her words, but rather I never thought she would say them. Well, yeah, I kind of know about it already.
Is that so? But you seem pretty calm. Even now, you strain your body over something that has nothing to do with you. I would have a hard time believing it. But are you really not afraid of dying?
She stares at me, somewhat peeved. No way, I think I'm more afraid of death than most people. But that's something in the future. Maybe tomorrow or next year, but I can't think about the future too much. I can't think about the future too much. I prioritize what I want to be doing now.
I see. So you can see your own death as well. That's why you're more afraid of death than others. That makes sense. Even for me. I'd be shivering if I could see the 13 steps to the gallows.
No, it's not like that. It's not like I can clearly sense when I'll die.
It's almost the same thing. Let's see. Can I ask you something, for reference? You ended up with a body weaker than those of others. It would only be natural to curse it and fear your life. Hey Shiki, don't you find it difficult living life with such a body?
Sensei looks at me openly, yet with unreadable eyes. Those are the eyes of a magus, her side of which I'm not familiar with.
Right? You can no longer have normal happiness like everyone else. As long as you have that body of yours, all that awaits is suffering.
That may be so, but I think it's not that bad. But I'm probably happy, because up until now was a lot of fun. So it'll probably be fun in the future, too. The sound of her gasping. With a large sigh, she changes back to her usual self.
Shiki?
She seems sad as she calls my name.
To be honest, I do feel some regret. I feel like I said something to you that I shouldn't have back then.
I look straight into her eyes. It's different from before. Back when I had to look up to see her eyes, but now she's looking up into mine.
Give it power without reason. I told you that if you have that power, there has to be some meaning to it. But, you know, it's up to the individual to decide what that meaning may be. There's no room for anyone else, especially something as ambiguous as a god, to interfere. So it would have been alright if you did nothing. Even if you denied those eyes of yours and did nothing, it still would have been alright. I'm regretting my words because you could have led a normal life, more suitable for you as Shiki.
Sensei.
Didn't I tell you earlier that you should live your life with an honest heart? You really did, Shiki. But that's something difficult to do. It would have been easier for you to stray from your path a little, because your eyes draw you to disaster. Isn't it ironic that a killer more skilled than anyone else also hates killing more than anyone else? If you lived a normal life, or had your heart deviated from the true path, you wouldn't have had to go through so much pain.
Yeah, that may be true, but now that you mention it, if I gave up, it may have been a little easier. But that has no meaning. It would have only made things a little easier, and to start with, I never thought of it as particularly painful. You have the wrong idea, Sensei. Everything I did because I wanted to. It's not like I'm a saint or anything. I like myself just the way I am. That's why I was glad that you told me back then to become an adult by living just the way I was. Sensei, I don't regret anything, so there's no reason for you to regret anything either. I really feel that from the bottom of my heart, and I smile at her. As if dazzled by a radiant light, she narrows her eyes and closes them briefly.
See, man, it seems you really have become a wonderful young fellow.
Her hand reaches for her trunk.
Yeah, you're fine just the way you are, Shiki. My world is full of devious individuals, so associating with someone like you balances things out. It might be hard on you, but if you don't mind, then I guess it's alright.
With a "see you," Sensei turns her back to me. I can't stop her, and there's no reason to. I could feel that this really is the last time. All I can remember is the one thing I forgot to say. That day, in an ocean of grass, an important friend who had spoken with me, who was about to disappear, There's no wind. The grass does not sway, and the only thing that changes is her figure, which gets farther away. She didn't turn around suddenly back then, and she won't now. Sensei. I call out to stop her. She halts in her tracks.
What?
She doesn't turn around. Only her voice drifts to me. I know what I must say. The words I've always wanted to say. It's just that if I say these words, I really won't be able to see her ever again. But still, I have to say them. She told me...
Live true to yourself and become a man in the manner that you think is right.
She also taught me that it is important to accept my mistakes and to be able to apologize for them. That's why I have to say it. Thank you. I'm glad I met you, Sensei. That's what I felt as a child. Those words were the ones from the bottom of my heart that I once could not say, because I was filled with the sadness of parting. From behind, it seemed Sensei surprised. She stands there, lowers her head, and turns toward me with her usual expression.
Take care, Shiki. Let's meet again if we are fated to do so.
She says this as if it was nothing, and the wind suddenly gusts. Swish. It rustles through the swaying grass, and the moon's light disappears. After that, as if abducted by the wind, she disappears. For some strange reason, I'm not shedding any tears. I feel sad, and I don't want to part. But not shedding tears also means that I've grown up since then. The grassy field becomes silent once more. Gazing up, it looks like the moon is about to vanish from the sky. All things pass by, just like the moon disappearing. And yet, after a long time, there may be the chance to meet again. And so, tonight's moon disappears. Well then. I close my eyes just once, as if lowering the curtains. In the sky, dawn is drawing closer. Just like the moon that has just fallen, for the time being, the curtains are lowered on the long story for Tonoshiki. The heavens soar high above. I look up while embraced by the clear, brisk night air. All things are uncertain, just like a waking dream. The past is all an illusion. It doesn't leave behind a tangible form, and even the most vivid of memories are really just transient. Yet, I believe that the moon's image will never fade away. Even that is fragile. Even though I know it will end one day, I don't care. The memories continue on. I'm sure that even the end will be a happy one. The lunar eclipse is far away. Everyone races through their remaining time and passes on. Fiend. That was almost exactly 20 minutes, like I estimated.
That's cute how he met up with Sensei in the end.
Yeah. Now, so I was looking up some stuff, and apparently if I click on Type Moon here, something happens now.
Ooh.
What is this now? I've had difficulty sleeping these past few days. Even though everything has been settled with Roa, and turned out almost too well for Arcade. I shouldn't be having such restless nights anymore. All I can think of is that day underneath the tree. I asked Hisui to tell Kohaku to meet me there after lunch. At the appointed time, I was relaxing underneath the tree, doing my best to unwind from the recent havoc in my life. With the conclusion of that mess, my biggest stress left, and I began to notice inconsistencies in my life as at the Tono Mansion. I took a look through the old man's diary and pieced some other things together, and she was coming. I got up, brushing the grass off of my clothes, and stood to face Kohaku as she approached. She wore that bright, cheerful smile, almost like a uniform.
Shiki-san, it's strange for you to call me all the way out here to tell me something. I hope this is some wonderful secret we'll have to keep out here by the tree.
I held out the white ribbon that the girl gave me so long ago.
No, I don't think it should have to be anything like that.
Oh,
Oh,
no, oops,
oops.
oh, oops, yeah. No, I don't think it should have to be anything like that. I just thought I should give you back your ribbon. I'm really sorry it took me so long to notice. It was really inconsiderate of me, but I was having a pretty bad week. I was always thinking of this ribbon and the girl by the window and how I left her alone in that mansion. More than anything else, this ribbon was really why I came back to the mansion. I had to give it back to you.
So, entire life since that fateful day has been a cruel facade, and you want to shatter it. And just like that?
No, I'm just giving you back a damn ribbon. Keep on smiling.
I will attempt to do that. Please don't look at me.
Kohaku walked slowly back to the house after that. I watched through the window as she opened up one of the kitchen drawers and slammed her hand in it. Then she walked back out to me without saying a word.
I'm sorry, Shiki-san. I would like to continue our conversation, but I seem to have hurt my hand somehow. I should go repair the doll now.
Kohaku slithered off to the house after that. I thought she would have been happy that I finally remembered who she was. I kind of knew what she'd been through for reading that bastard's diary. Still, like her, of course, I still like her, of course. She's a nice kid. I guess I'm really a little dense when it comes to women. Still, that smile she gave me before she left stirred something in the back of my head. I hadn't felt since the last fight with Shiki. The rushing of blood and my throat starting to dry. Just like when my blood screams at me in silence to silence some inhuman demon. Oh well, I won't be too bothered by it. Even though she gave me such a bone-chilling smile, Kohaku is such a nice and happy person. I'm sure she'll be alright, and today's weather is so good. I should go out with Arkaway tonight. Maybe go see a vampire movie. Dinner evolved into a drinking party that night. So rather than retiring to my room and seeking out, I enjoyed the evening with Akiya and taking one shot after another. Isui nursing a single glass of wine. And Kohaku serving us.
You shouldn't be so modest in front of your dear family like this. Please have another drink.
No, Kohaku-san, please. My doctor told me to be careful when I'm drinking. I've already had much more than I usually do.
Shiki-san, I talked with your doctor at length about your condition. I've also been carefully monitoring your intake today, so feel at ease and drink until I say you can stop.
I'm scared of getting drunk, but I would feel worse denying such a straightforward request. I acquiesce and drink much more than I usually would. Isui curls up on the sofa shortly after finishing her glass of wine. Kohaku takes Akiya when she passes out, and I end up innocently taking Isui back to my room. Next morning, after this totally boy talk with Isui, I head to the sitting room. For once, Akiya is nowhere to be found.
Good morning, Shiki-san. Did Did you have fun last night?
Yeah, mostly. It was a little scary, but I guess we all ended up having fun, so it's alright. Where's Akiha?
Such a long night. Kia couldn't help but sleep in this morning. I'm sorry you can't see her, Shiki-san. Shiki-san, did anything fun happen last night with Hisui after the party?
No, she was unconscious the whole time. I honestly replied, but maybe that was the wrong way to say it. I think she's getting the wrong idea.
Oh, Shiki-san, I know a filthy male took my pure dear sister to his room and spent hours alone with her.
Kohaku? Kohaku continued grinning, her eyes a little wider than normal.
You know what, Shiki? Maybe I should make you an extra special breakfast for being so nice to Hisui-chan.
I gulped air. Something inside me was telling me to either to run now or to cut out its throat. No thanks, Kohaku. I'm kinda late, so I should just hurry to get to class. She talked right over me when I started to object. Oops.
Well then, why don't you just wait in the sitting why don't you just wait in the sitting room for a moment? I'll make you a quick cup of tea to help wake you up.
My fingers twitched. For no apparent reason, I wish I hadn't left my knife on the nightstand. I'm sorry, Kohaku-san. I really must be going. She went blank for a second, then smiled.
Yes. Oh, before I forget, Akiya-sama said she wanted to see you in the garden, though.
Before I could respond, she darted past me, back towards her side of the mansion, as if on some sort of mission. I went to the garden only to find it empty. Yet, wasn't Akiya sleeping still?
Yeah.
I wasn't that shocked. Didn't Kohaku say that Akiya was sleeping in? I turned back toward the mansion to see Hisui bounding down the steps with my bag in her hand.
Shiki-sama. You almost forgot your bag.
I smiled awkwardly and took the bag from her. Thanks, Hisui. You're the greatest. The day went well until third period when I had to get a history book out of my bag. I couldn't remember filling my bag with syringes and pictures of my old man with the eyes cut out. I didn't feel any immediate effects, so I just decided to wait it out until I'd stay at school. Clock was such a kidder, though. Whenever I have trouble sleeping, she always brings my medication and sings quiet songs in my ear until I fall asleep. I've had difficulty sleeping these past few days, even though everything has been settled with Roa and turned out almost too well with Arcoade. I shouldn't be having such restless nights anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw Hisui or Akiha. Automatically, I came to the sitting room, and the only person inside is Kohaku. Good morning, Kohaku. Akiha is still feeling bad?
Yes. I'm sorry to say she had so much fun with the party last night that you just can't see her this morning.
The party? Yeah, I guess it was late. It was last night. I have a bit of a hangover for that matter.
Shiki-san, it's time for you to eat breakfast before you go to school. I've already set it out for you in the dining room.
Ah, right. Thanks, Kohaku. You're the greatest.
No, you're welcome.
After an uneventful day at school, I packed up and headed for home. I'm pretty thirsty, so I head to the kitchen after dropping my bag off in my room. I enter the kitchen to find her in the midst of preparing dinner. Good afternoon, Kohaku.
Home, Shiki-san. Dinner will be ready soon.
Thanks, I just came in to grab a drink before I started my homework. I walked over to the fridge and got a soda, popped the top, and took a sip before turning back around. Hey, Kohaku-san, remember how we always used to play around in the garden, you, Akiha, and myself? Man, I sure wish Shisui could have come down and played with us.
Shiki, don't you just gave her the ribbon back, though.
I think something weird's... I think Kohaku, did something to him.
Yeah. Oh well, I always remember just watching you.
She smiled. Wow, man. Okay, that is an odd response. Did you mean anything by that? Oh, wait. Hey, remember that time that the old man? She vehemently shook her head and went back to chopping up vaguely phallic carrots as if she were a force possessed.
Sorry, Shiki-san. We don't talk about Makikisa-sama much around here.
I was honestly confused, but she set the knife down and began to shake her finger at me, an expression of concern spreading across her face. Unfortunately, it looked as if she had cut herself pretty bad putting the knife down. I closed my eyes and felt the crimson droplets spray across my face as she said something I couldn't understand. The red drops filling my vision turned my mind into a snowy white field in the dead of winter. I snapped back to attention. Kohaku-san was staring at her finger as blood slowly pulsed out of the wound.
I mean, it's not my hand, and it just belongs to a doll, so it doesn't hurt, right? That's right. This hand is not mine. It is an object that belongs to a doll.
I squeezed my eyes shut and quickly wiped the specks of blood off the lenses of my glasses. I was, for the first time, truly speechless. What the fuck has she just said? Honestly, that was like... I remember back to when I was in middle school. A lunatic had escaped from the asylum in the neighboring province. He appeared on the street one night, covered in rags and newspaper scraps, screaming at the top of his lungs about how aliens implanted his brain into a different body, and now it had made him immortal. This was, well, completely different, but it still gave me the same vibe. Maybe you should go put a bandage on it? She looked up, grinning in a way that I instantly didn't like.
Oh, of course. I will go repair the doll now. Thank you, Shiki-san. You were always so kind. I am glad that I'm speaking to you now, at least.
I was honestly confused. My veins began to pump ice water, and I was suddenly very worried about Kohaku. But just then, as she turned to head out the hall, she tripped. That beautiful ass, delicately covered by that kimono, quickly turned my blood to fire. Is this scene even on the script list? I have to check now. Okay, yeah, I don't have this scene on the list here. This is dangerous territory. Yeah, that's why I was here. Just in case, I'm gonna put the screen up.
I'm Trashiki.
Yeah. Kohaku-san, you're pretty alright, you know that? I suddenly wanted a cigarette. What is this script? She grinned absent-mindedly, got up, and skirted out of the room. Okay, I think we're okay. Yumizuka slapped my hand aside and my knife skittered across the park. Okay, wait. Was there any timeline where she survived? Didn't she vanish in the first two routes?
Yeah, she vanished.
She cornered me, her bloodshot eyes glittering in the night.
Finally, Shiki. You'll be like me.
I gasped, prepared for the inevitable. Until the sound of a motor cut into my senses like a knife. Something hit me with a thud and collapsed at my feet. I squeezed open an eye to see Yumizuka's torso lying in front of me, her legs having stopped to meet her back.
Kun? Kakun?
What the hell just happened? Suddenly I heard a giggle. Gohaku-san? Oh,
She isekai'd her.
okay. Kohaku-san came out from behind a tree, the motorized hedge trimmer in her hands.
Sama asked me to come see why you're out so late, Shiki-san. Is everything okay?
She gave me a cheerful smile, the blood spatters covering half her face and turning her kimono into a gory display of organs and bone chips. Damn, Kohaku, you're like some sort of porcelain war god. She tilted her head and gave me the same pure, serene smile that she had for every occasion.
Shiki-san. Maybe return to the mansion, though? You must sharpen the blades on this trimmer for tomorrow.
Thanks for killing that chick for me. I don't think it'll be all that bad if you miss trimming the hedges for a week. I was lying. I knew Akia would be pissed if those shrubberies were out of order, but I owed Kohaku one and would stand up for her.
Thank you, Shiki-san. You were always so kind. What are you doing, Shiki-sama?
We already went over this, Hisui. And please don't call me Sama. Well, unless we're, you know. Blush and continued putting on the tie. Anyway, I'm going to try to bring back Nanaya's memories by making her think about the past. How do I look? Hisui bit her lip and balled her hands into fists.
You look very much like Makihisa-sama, Shiki-san, but this is a very mean thing to do.
I winked. Nonsense. We'll bring Kohaku back, Hisui. Now, put on this kimono and ribbon. We're going to do a little role-playing when we get into her room. I woke up in the hospital 7 days later. Nanaya, claimed it was a nervous impulse. I don't think anyone could throw a dinner fork across a room with that much accuracy. So I guess we're just hopping across timelines now.
This is the Kohaku good ending that we never got.
Yeah. I felt my new eye patch inside. Kohaku-san, why are you dressed up as Hisui, staple gunning me to my bed with pajamas? Kohaku-san merely stared at me blankly.
Not Kohaku. I'm Isui, Shiki-sama. I'm somewhat offended that you don't recognize... Wait... But I don't tell you when I'm mad, do I? Oh, bother. You made me break character, Shiki-san.
A mild grin broke out over her face, somehow out of place with the French maid uniform. Kohaku-san, you're horribly, horribly insane, aren't you? She nodded her head, each shake punctuated by a pock of the staple gun. Why didn't I notice this before? Kohaku stopped at my question, tilting her head, looking intently at the ceiling for a second.
Good. Maybe it's because you're so daft, Shiki-san. That's why I like you.
She giggled and reached into a black doctor's bag. I began to quietly cry.
Hisui-chan is so strange around you. I just can't gauge what I should be like. That's why I'm going to dissect your brain. That way, I'll surely know how a person's brain works.
The next day, she raked all the leaves in the garden into a pile on the patio and immolated herself on it. Honestly, if I had feelings about her, I guess I would have been crushed. But she was really starting to creep me out, so it's probably for the best. Oh, Ark, remind me to call the locksmith on the way back from school. Isui locked herself in her room again while sobbing uncontrollably this morning, and I don't want to keep killing the locks. I finally decided that I would return the ribbon. It took weeks after settling things with Arkwood and CL to weave my way through all the lies being told at the Tono Mansion. I think I finally really recovered all of my childhood memories. Oh, oops. Oh, hold on. So I'm ready to give this ribbon back to that very special girl. I told Akiya to meet me underneath the tree. Akiya?
What? And with Nissan, you left that strange note to meet you out here underneath this tree, didn't you?
That's right. Akiya, I'm sorry it took so long to notice, but I finally realized everything. I should give this back to you. This is really why I came back. I'm really laying it on pretty thick with that line, but it seemed pretty good to me while I was rehearsing most of the morning.
She'll kill us both for this. I'm going to start staying at the school's dorm again. I suggest you stay with that idiot friend of yours. I won't expect to see you again, Nissan. You really brought this on yourself, though.
I don't really understand what she's saying. I would have thought she'd be happy I returned that stupid ribbon. Why would you give a little boy a ribbon anyway? Was I going to put it in my pink Mechazoid or what? Oh well, I should be getting to school too. School is pretty uneventful. I managed to avoid confrontation with Arkwade and CL, so I just go straight home. Usui is waiting for me just like normal when I return home.
Welcome home, Chiki-san.
Yeah, I'm home, Usui. I step over the threshold into the lobby and trip. I throw out my free hand to stop my fall, but it only finds purchase on a child's roller skate. Why is this here? It's like an American cartoon. I can't stop myself and fall face first into a puddle of bleach.
Shiki-sama, what a horrible fall you had. Are you hurt?
I cough, choke, and almost inhale a mouthful of bleach before I can right my body. Ow.
I'm deeply sorry, Shiki-sama. I was cleaning the lobby just before you came home. I cannot apologize enough for this error.
No, it's my fault for spacing out all the time. I shouldn't have tripped. I hope I didn't get in your way. I'm standing again and holding my nose. The front of my uniform is already turning white, and it feels like my face is on fire. Can you really clean a house with this?
I'll be able to recover my work somehow. Please retire to your room until I call you to dinner this evening. I do not want you getting in the way more today.
That was really cold, even for Hisui, but I feel so bad I just pick up my now white bag and go to my room. I'm finally able to peacefully eat a meal in the mansion. With Akiya staying at the dorm, I don't have to worry about table manners or any of that stuff that I'm not too good at. Dinner is good, and Hisui serves me as normal.
Shiki-sama, would you like another drink?
Thanks, Hisui. It doesn't seem to matter how much water I drink, I'm still thirsty.
Certainly is mysterious, Shiki-sama.
At that, my body decides that it's time to go to sleep, and I can barely manage to fall onto my bed. I see a dream. That grassy clearing in a forest in the dark of night. The light of the full moon that cannot pierce the canopy of trees' boughs. In that clearing, there are hundreds of men, samurai, ninja, farmers, priests. They have familiar bone structures, or eyes, or ears. And a noise. A noise so loud I think my head might break. Laughter. Laughing. They're all laughing at something incredibly funny. They can't stop. It's maddening. They're laughing at me? I'm tied down to something. My head is restrained. I cannot move a single inch. I groan and open my eyes to see Kohaku.
You're awake? Shiki-san, welcome to...
She pauses for effect.
the magical tonal underground kingdom.
I sit silently for a few seconds. What? That isn't in this game. Kohaku-san stops smiling and looks off into space.
So bad, Shiki-san. You can't even suspend disbelief for a minute. I was going to catch Akiya-sama too, but she was too smart. Still, she has to come back to the house in time. And when she does, there's no way she can evade all of my traps.
I am awestruck for a second. Traps? She grins, wholly without malice. Suddenly, I realize I couldn't see any emotion in it at all.
For trap, snare traps. Anyway.
She draws the last word out like a bored school kid.
I got you, Shiki-san. And since Akiya-sama ruined my plans by not being present, there's only one thing to do.
She runs her bare fingers across my uniform, her hands like albino spiders, nimbly opening my shirt and exposing my chest. My heart begins to beat quicker with the gentle touch, my mind frozen with a mix of confusion and fear. Oh, they actually made art for this.
I want potion and an aphrodisiac. And one for you, one for me. We'll be happy forever.
I sit, jaw agape for several long seconds. Kohaku-san, you know there's no such thing as a love potion. Besides, my mind races. Arkue, Yumizuka, and even Senpai. How could I live with so many girls without an almost heroic lack of interest? She cuts me off.
Shiki-san, you called my bluff. They're just filled paint. I call dibs on the pink one. You first.
A needle point presses against my chest, over my heart. My mind, swept clean of thought, burns with fear. The needle penetrates. This is the end of Tonoshiki.
Never give the ribbon to...
So I took to keeping a diary like my old man. Cut a few snippets out of my old man to give it to some character and the starting point. January 4th, 1990X. Had a rather heavy case of dementia today, so I planted my stiffy inside Kohaku and watched some TV. She didn't seem that happy about it, or happy about anything, really. Oh, well. Oh, third quarter results came out today. Looks like I saved a mint by pulling out of Yakazuki Manufacturing. Makihisa. January 7th, 1990X. She sure loves scribbling in that diary of hers. Also had to hide all the letter openers today. She keeps looking at them funny. Makihisa. November 3rd, 2000X. Had another alley dream last night. Remembered to tell Gardner to kill Kohaku's flower bed in salty earth. Possibly related. There was a murderer in town last night. Shiki. November 4th, 2000X. Break from school today. Gardner was mowing, so I sat back in my room and watched Kohaku gather up the grass clippings for a compost. It was going fine until the lawnmower swerved around one of those decorative stones right into where Kohaku was raking. I heard the buzzing sound from where I was, mentally prepared for the worst. Gardner jumped off the lawnmower, screaming and hollering. Kohaku merely dropped the rake and stared at the stump where her foot had been, and balanced unsteadily on the remaining one as the gardener began to empty his stomach into a nearby bush. To make things worse, Hisui came in right while it was happening, changing the sheets or something. I nodded to her, still watching like a voyeur. But then the gardener was screaming into a cell phone. Kohaku, meanwhile, wobbled like a girl playing hopscotch, trying to pick up the rake at her foot without losing balance. Naturally, Hisui asked me what I was looking at. Tried to shrug it off, told her Kohaku just lost a foot to the mower. Hisui went pale, so then I had to try to calm her down. Looked back out the window, said something like, it's been taken care of. Besides, she doesn't let little things like that get in the way of her cheerful outlook. No response. Looked back to see Hisui passed out on the bed in shock. Honestly, it's like it was her own damn foot. I mean, Kohaku wouldn't let a little thing like having a foot lopped off distract her from her true purpose. At least it'll make it harder for her to pretend to be Hisui. I can already imagine it. Hisui, chop off your foot, please. It's the only way I can protect you. Shiki. December 10th, 2000X. New gardener has worse luck than the previous one. Kohaku lost her other foot to the lawnmower yesterday. What the hell? Seemed generally unfazed and genial, even when pressured. She didn't even say anything about it until I slipped on the puddle of gore coming back from school. Gave her a piggyback ride to the hospital since she's the only one with a license. Related. Need to buy new slacks. Current pair is blood running down the legs. Had the strangest conversation when I questioned her, too.
Shiki-sama, this is nothing. The doll is just a little damaged.
The entire time she balanced precariously on her prosthetic and pushed the leaves around the garden with that damn broom. Have to admit, though, she's getting good at sleeping again. Right. You remember when I used to carry you around on piggyback when we were kids? You always thought it was so fun to just let me run around with her on my back like that. You want to try it, Kohaku? For old time's sake?
I do remember that thing you just said. Let's try it. Please?
Was nostalgic, though. Reminded me of playing hospital at the Arima house. Everyone would pick me up, throw me in the car, and drive to the hospital as fast as they could. Cheeky. December 17th, 2000X. Woke up covered in blood in the alleyway again. Wasn't naked this time, so he must have done something to please Kohaku. Was slightly hard making it back to the mansion last time, wearing nothing but a copy of the Sunday Times. The new gardener quit. Requesting workers' comp. Flower bed remains. Reminder, ask Aki if the Toda family has any strong military connections. After seeing what happened to that gardener, maybe napalm from a fast-moving military airplane would be a safer method to get rid of those flowers. Shiki. January 4th, 2000X. Personal note. Stop accepting drugs from Hisui. I can't tell the damn difference between them. Maybe if I could get Kohaku's contacts, I would stand a chance, but she keeps hiding them all over. And then she only gives me that freaky grin after I've taken the offered drug. That glassy-eyed expression turns my spine to ice and makes my testicles proceed into my body for fear.
What a diary!
Yeah. Oh, God, I had no idea this was in here. January 5th, 2000X. Had another alleyway dream. Woke up in Akia's room without clothes and covered head to toe in blood. Mostly sure that none of it was mine. Can't for the life of me figure out how Kohaku got the morning glory to me this time. Shiki. Reed Warbler, Shiki Diary. Month X, Day X. Walked in for a nightly feeding to find Akia sitting on Kohaku's stomach, chewing on one of her arms. I guess I shouldn't have gone to get that transfusion today. I can only assume that they've been that way since Kohaku went in this morning to comb Akia's hair. Swatted her back with a broom, then gave her a stern talking to as she drank about a pint out of my jugular. Upon regaining consciousness, Kohaku said something about a doll again, apologized profusely, and then scuttled off like a cockroach. And everyone thinks I'm strange. Shiki. Month X, Day X. Late for the feeding again. Kohaku had taken cover in the closet. Akia was banging on it half-heartedly, growling, and trying to figure out how to open it. She had the cutest primal expression on her face. Like, how I get... oh. Oh, God. How I get in. Blood in there.
Blood in there.
Yeah. Kohaku called from the closet.
Oh, Shiki-san. It's okay. It's only been a few hours.
Must remember to dock her pay for loitering around like that. Reminder, find out if we even pay Hisui and Kohaku. Shiki. Month X, Day X. Woke up late today. Hisui is worried about Kohaku and had not seen her since morning duty with Akiha. Stumbled out of bed over to the detached building to find Akiha knocking on the closet door. Called for Kohaku, only to get an apology for not having breakfast ready, spoken from inside the closet. Distracted Akiha with a cowbell and sent Kohaku back to the manor. Minder talked to Kohaku about morning duties. Akiha's hair was a positive mess. Shiki. Okay. Jesus, that was...
Those extra Kohaku endings are so cursed.
Yeah. I guess she was the true yandere the whole time. Alright, as far as I know, that is it for this game. At least until, there might be... Let's just say there might be a little bonus about a month from now. But, yeah, so that's it for Tsukihime. Thanks for watching, everyone. Next week, we'll be checking out Tsukihime Plus disc, which is apparently short enough that we can do it as a one-off. As for other stuff, I might be streaming some Pokemon tomorrow morning if I have time. But if not, then definitely like by Tuesday, maybe. So we'll see you then.